Yo, what is going on, and welcome to another episode of the Urban Pitch Podcast, the beautiful game of life, part of the Believe Network. I'm Ramsey Abushala, editor of urbanpitch.com. To my left, Julio Monterosa, executive director of Vibes. Julio, what's going on, man?
Not much, man. It's been a busy day. I feel like I drank 4 cups of coffee today. I'm still tired.
Still tired?
Still tired.
You haven't gotten any sleep since the Galaxy won the MLS Cup?
Man,
or what?
I told my friends, like, I don't know, like, I don't get why you guys are talking trash. I told you guys you were gonna win. Like, and I it's like, look at your messages. I was like, yeah, if Galaxy goes against LAFC, I'm scared because LAFC, they're attacking 3, they're wingers plus Ricky, and having a 9 that just can score is gonna be crazy for any defense to stop. And sure enough, and then I even told them for the finals, I was like, if Galaxy scores a goal early, it's gonna be a scary night for the New York because they're used to grinding it out and figuring it out the end.
Right.
But no, 2 quick goals, and that final was set in stone.
So it seemed like it was, but I thought the Red Bulls like made a really good
Push at the end.
Even towards the end of the first half, you know, they brought it within 1. They had a lot of good chances, and it was a very like white-knuckled battle that last 45, and especially in the last couple of minutes where, I mean, they had a couple of really good chances that just missed. I think Emil Forsberg hit the post on one shot. So it was, I mean, a really exciting final to watch.
Yeah.
But I want to take this from the angle of us. You know, being like, I want to make this about us.
Yeah, no, definitely. It was a great final, but like, it doesn't compare to that 22-2 with Bill scoring that bang. You're going to penalty.
Sure, right.
It was a boring final.
But so to go back to what you were saying, we've been pretty high on the Galaxy
all season
for most of this season.
People still want to talk trash to me though.
And obviously, you being an
LAFC
pretty outspoken LAFC fan, Bridget as well. What does this championship mean to the LA soccer rivalry atmosphere? Now that both teams have an MLS Cup within the last 3 years.
Yeah, no, it's the last 4 years has been 2 LA teams.
Yeah.
So
last 3 years, not 4, right? 22, and then 23 last year was Columbus in LA last year.
Yeah.
And then this year was Galaxy. So there's been a LA team in the MLS Cup Final the last 3 years.
So yeah,
and 2 of them have won it.
Nah, man, it's great. It's great for the city. We beat New York once again. Even though, like, as an LAFC fan, I wanted New York Red Bulls to win, and as an LA fan,
it's nice to see.
It's nice to see now. The Kings have a good chance of winning it in hockey. I remember, I think it was 2003. It was Boston Red Sox, the Penguins, and I think it might have been
the Patriots.
So they had
that was like 2010, and then the Celtics, or the year the Celtics won.
Is that 08?
Yeah, something crazy like that. Where they were all winning within at least 1 year of each other.
I just want LA to be one of those cities where in every sport we have a championship.
Yeah, and then so I want to also say that LA gets bad rap for when it comes to being a sports city, and I think there's.
Wait, did Galaxy have a parade?
They did. No, I don't know if they did a parade. They did like a celebration. I know they did a celebration outside of Dignity Health.
Shout out to what's it called, South Bay, man. They had a great parade.
Yeah. Maybe.
I was like, LA was quiet.
Yeah, I don't. They maybe did one down Del Amo Boulevard or something.
There you go.
But so I want to say this, that LA does get a bad rap for being a kind of fickle sports city where the fans don't really know what they're talking about. They're only there when the teams are winning. I will say, from an LA neutral perspective, you know, appreciating both Galaxy and LAFC, call me a coward, whatever, I don't care. The LA Galaxy fan experience, and I know you have your own thoughts.
No,
it's still fantastic.
It's been
from a fan perspective. Talking to Galaxy fans, you know, they know what they're talking about. They're knowledgeable, just like LAFC fans are. You know, the passion is there. So I think that whole narrative that LA fans, you know, are, you know, only show up for 60% of the game, get there late, leave early, they're bandwagoners, all this and that. There's a little bit of truth to that, but I think that we've seen both with the Dodgers, And then even with LAFC in their playoff run and LA Galaxy in their championship run, you're seeing, I mean, the sports fan, the sports townness has definitely been out and evident. Today's episode is brought to you by Bet Online. Bet Online continues to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, Bet Online provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, the NBA, and college basketball, to NHL and the UFC. Head to Bet Online today and don't forget to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, the game starts here.
Definitely. No, I think it's great. I enjoyed watching on the social media how a lot of these Galaxy fans were posting their 2014 pictures of them being in the final
right.
as kids as well. So it's great, man. It's great. It brings joy to see that LA now for next season is going to be because all the rumors are happening on both teams. Is that now LA can be the soccer hub for all MLS, even though we do have a Miami with a Messi.
Right.
Like, it's cool, but
they stole the show. The Galaxy. This was supposed to be Messi's year. And the Galaxy kind of stole the show, and I think that's a good thing for LA. Maybe not for MLS, like in the big picture of things, but honestly, like I'm glad. I'm almost getting Messi fatigue. I'm not taking it for granted. I think it's amazing that he's here, and it's an unbelievable experience getting a chance to have a player of his caliber play in MLS and in our domestic league. But honestly, like, it was getting to a point where it's like, dude, there's other players in this league, and I'm glad that the Galaxy are getting their shine, even though, you know, the numbers aren't what they would have been had Inter Miami been in the final.
No, definitely. But the stadium was rocking. It was a great experience. I saw a lot of the people having fun. For a lot of my friends were like, "Are you going to the game?" I'm like, "No, dude. You guys are rowdy today."
You're persona non grata over there.
Yeah, I'm not the most fun person in that side of town.
Yeah.
But no, it was great. The atmosphere looked amazing from the TV. I think it was like a certain amount. It was like about 4,000. I don't know how many New York Red Bull fans were there as well.
Yeah, and the Red Bull front office, I think, paid for their trips. I think I saw something
crazy like that. So it was crazy. It was great. Shout out to the Galaxy. I said this last year when they hired William. Like, that's the best signing Galaxy can do. He's going to turn this franchise around.
Yeah.
Sure enough, 24 months later, he turned the franchise around.
And let's talk about that turnaround, because I think a year ago when we were going over the protests and the boycott and the Klein out movement, I said something to the extent of, you know, if you were getting into the league, or if you're getting into soccer as a sport, and you're in LA, and you want to pick a team to choose, you know, root for a home team, in addition to, you know, whatever your European league that you want to become a fan of, you have LAFC and you have LA Galaxy. And at the time, a year ago, you had a front office that was, you know, getting a lot of hate. They were getting criticized. The team was kind of in shambles. It was a really bad 2023 season. I think they finished in 12th. Why would you choose that? My whole thing was, why would you pick the Galaxy to root for if you're a new fan? And even in years past, if you go before that, LAFC was kind of the new kid on the block. They have the flash. They have, you know, the glitz, the glamour. Galaxy have the history. They were kind of coasting on that history for a while. And it took them a few years to kind of, you know, wake it up or turn it around. And it wasn't just an overnight thing where it's like, okay, yes, they hired Will Kuntz and he's done a great job. But I think over the last few years, despite the turmoil with the fans, despite the lackluster results on the field, they have been making an effort to turn things around to get to this point. So this is not an overnight thing. It seems like it is because of how bad they were last year compared to this year. But you have to give them the props. They did a really good job of building a coherent roster with really exciting players. Ricky Puig, probably the most exciting guy to watch on a nightly basis. Having him go down and still being able to win, you know, Gaston Brugman did a really good job.
But it was crazy final. I thought the game was going to be way more even because of Ricky going down. But then 5 minutes before the game starts, Red Bull's last man goes down.
That's right. Yeah,
and then he got that first goal, he got caught on his heels.
Yeah.
So but shout out to the guys. They goes back to being well coached. But they did something amazing. They started off fixing their front office first.
Yeah.
And then the everything trickled down to the field.
Right.
So yeah, of course Ricky, Messi won it, but I feel like Ricky should have been MVP just because the way like it doesn't seem like he does the most, but he does everything. Like
he does.
He drops down to the back line, gets the ball, goes more vertical, straight down. They have I forget his name, Cerrillos and Delgado going side to side in the centers, and they have the Peck and what's the other guy's name? Paintsel just flying down them wings.
Yeah, those wings, and then Joveljic too is just a great finisher.
And then they had the Colombian guy they got in the summer, winter last year. Not Cacerillo, what's his name?
Not Caceres.
No, Caceres went down. He's a Uruguayan.
Yeah.
He's a Colombian guy, tall, dark, center back. Like,
I know what you're talking about.
He took Neil's spot.
Yeah.
And really took ownership. He was great. I think he was a great pickup, a silent pickup. He was a wall there.
Yeah.
It was not sending him out, and then the wings. Their wings were going fly. I mean, they're outside backs as well, just great players. William did his thing. He got a lot of people with no real name to them, but a lot of upside in the show. Like he's probably best exec. If you want a championship, get William in that front office.
Yeah. Did Thornton win Executive of the Year? There was an Executive
probably,
of the Year. Yeah.
Probably because he brought Giroud.
Yeah. So and now you kind of see this, right, where LAFC, I don't want to call Giroud a flop, but he didn't perform to the expectations that he was meant to. And maybe it was a fact that he came in mid-season.
Yeah.
It's hard to adapt, especially to a striker that is not necessarily put in the right spot, right?
But if you think when Boanga came, the first 4 months prior to that, I believe it was against Austin FC where he took that to the side and made a goal. But prior to that, everybody was like, what the hell is he doing? Why did we bring this guy?
Yeah.
It's a guy that was going to be relegated in France. Like, why the hell did we bring him? And then
it took him a while to get going.
It took him a while. The following season, off season, he was great.
But so, to my point is, a signing like Bouanga is closer to a signing like a Peck or a Paintsel or,
a Peck.
A player that's not like as globally renowned.
Paintsel struggled. Peck was
Yeah, you know what I mean? So
scary.
So they were making that was, when did Bouanga come? 2022 or 2021?
Summer 2022.
So he came after Chicho left.
Cucho was still here.
Chicho and
Bouanga won the MLS Cup, and then he left. Chicho left the following season.
Okay, so
during that winter opening.
Okay. So now Galaxy LAFC are looking to they make these big splash signings, which I understand. Signing someone like Giroud, that's you have that opportunity. By all means, do it for the marketing opportunities, for the just increasing the reach and the profile of your club, but from a playing perspective, it doesn't always work immediately. I'm not writing off Giroud. I think he's a great player, obviously, and he still has some legs underneath him, and who knows what's to come next year. But looking at these young, dynamic players that can make an immediate impact, those are the types of signings that are more effective, at least especially in the short term. And we've seen that with what the Galaxy have done, and I don't know if LAFC, if this could ignite something in LAFC, because it's going to be an arms race between these two teams now.
Yeah, but I think LAFC did some great signings last year, especially young signings. The Venezuelan Martinez kid.
Right.
He got a back injury that left him out for a while, and then it was hard for him to get acclimated to the team. He came in, scored a goal, got a red card that same game.
Right. And even Bogus a couple years before,
Bogus, he was struggling.
Yeah.
We have I forgot the guy's name, Italian kid, tore his ACL.
Oh yeah.
He came from the Juventus Academy. Something about LAFC, they can find some good young talent. So
you can't ever count out that scouting department, because they've always been able to find these young players that can make that. And I think that I want them to kind of push that a little bit more even.
Yeah.
And because this rivalry was great when the teams were okay.
Now they're both great.
Now they're both fantastic. And so, you talk about the fatigue of El Tráfico and doing the Rose Bowl game and, they're meeting in the Open Cup or, some of these Leagues Cup matches. I don't think you're going to have that anymore because every time these teams play, it's always box office. So,
yeah.
I think that I'm excited to see where this rivalry is going to go now that both of them have hardware under their belts.
Shout out to the 1st to 6.
1st to 6. Do you like that?
Nah.
No. Okay, let's stay in LA.
Shout out to DC United, the original 1st to 1.
Yeah. Oh man, dude, that was a long time ago.
Nah, definitely. I'm happy that I live rent free in their heads. But talk about front office and live in their heads.
Yeah,
Angel City.
Let's talk about. Let's stay in LA. Angel City FC making some big moves. They let
everybody and their mama go.
So looks like they're gearing up towards a rebuild. Getting rid of Becky Tweed, who had her first full season as head coach.
Katie Johnson.
Up and down.
She's an amazing person.
Katie.
Don't let Mal lie to you.
Yeah. Mal knows. She apologized. Yeah. She apologized. Yeah. So Katie Johnson, Jasmine Spencer, Megan Doherty-Howard, and Didi Haricic.
Oh, that one hurt.
All got the part of our history treatment. Becky Tweed, and head coach, and GM Angela Hucles both got that as well. So a lot of key figures that were part of the team for better and for worse of the last couple of seasons are not going to be there anymore.
I think it was time though. As much as that team gets supported by the fans and the fans going out, knowing that Angel City is struggling, like it's not fair for them for the product they were putting out there.
Yeah.
That product was great marketing, great outside the pitch. But once you got to see those games, once you made it was
a struggle for sure.
Oh my, it was a struggle. And then we have young talent that we're stepping up this year. So
yeah, and I think that there's a lot of talent on the roster. There really is.
You see some great veteran leadership.
And there's a mix.
Like somebody that is all right. So Kristen Press, amazing player, but she has been dealing with some injuries for the last few years, barely coming back. Sydney, she's not the same player that she once was. But I think you need somebody in that prime right now, putting in that work so these young players can follow.
I will say this regarding Sydney. I was in that same boat going into the season where they had they signed Messiah Bright, who's a young, dynamic striker who is physical. She almost has a similar profile to Sydney Leroux, where really physical, can dominate on aerial balls, and just has a really good nose to finish. And she I think had 9 goals her rookie season in Orlando. Requested trade, goes to Angel City. I was very hyped on her signing. They really wanted to push Sydney Leroux playing a lot, and she was in the starting lineup for most of the season. I think Messiah got her chances every once in a while. But I will say this, in her moments, Sydney still can really perform at high levels. She had a handful of just absolute banger goals, especially off of set pieces, especially off of balls in the air. She still really has that knack to finish. I think if they can find a way that to mix the two of them, and get not just like a 60-minute and a 30-minute, but get them in the game for closer to 70, 80 minutes, and then maybe have a super sub at the end, just to get them more consistent playing time.
I think at this point she's playing more of a Westbrook role than Djokovic. Jokic.
Yeah.
So she's a great role player, can still make goals, but they do need somebody that they need somebody that it's their team. Right now, I don't think nobody has taken that. It's my team.
Yeah, and I really think Kristen Press had that. That first season that she was there.
Yes, but we haven't gotten somebody since.
And when she had very limited playing time at the end, but she still has that spark in her game.
Yeah, she had a goal.
So I do think that she, now having a full season, I think if she can stay healthy, That's going to be a really key returning figure. Alyssa Thompson, second half of the season was really good. Played her way back into the national team.
Yeah.
Was in a big slump the first half of the season.
Flying.
Really couldn't finish. Like, she had a lot of chances.
She's only 20.
Yeah, but she was not finishing those chances.
Yeah.
And it was, I think, getting into her head a little bit. She was pressing, and then finally someone going to the back of the net and was I think just took off from there. Had like 7 or 8 assists on the season as well. Led the team. I think she's the one that's going to take the leap next year, because the form that she was in towards the end of the season and even with the national team was very promising to see. We still have Sarah Gordon. They're talking about getting Vanessa Gilles back from Lyon.
I think but doesn't her loan end either January?
Yeah, they've kept extending her loan. I think she really likes it out there, and I don't blame her. That's the top team in the world right now. You have Giselle Thompson. You have
Giselle was coming to her own towards the end of the season as well.
Yeah, Katie Zellum, who once she settled in coming in from Manchester United, really looked like very comfortable on the ball, which is something that they needed, because that midfield was a little bit frantic at times, and they really could tell that they're not.
They just need a coach that has an idea.
Yes, and so that's the thing. That's what I'm trying to get at.
They did not have an idea playing.
It's not a talent issue.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talent on that roster. They just need to establish an identity. We talked about this with Jessica Black from the beginning of last season. If they can establish that identity, then they'll be money, and I'm excited to see what they have to offer, because I don't know who's going to be the coach. Casey Stoney has been thrown out there. I would love to see that, and those her fire fits on the sideline. But I don't know. It's nice to see that there's moves being made, because I think
the fans, they owe it to the fans.
Yeah. And so I don't know, man. It really sucks to see Didi go, though, because she was the first. She was our first guest. She was our first guest.
She lost her starting spot and got it back,
which is incredibly hard to do.
And for how bad the team was, the amount of time she was being attacked, she performed very, very well.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the end for her. Can't wait to see her next move. This pod, we love Didi. Didi we trust.
Yeah, we love Didi. She just, I think since we had her on the podcast, she was always showing us love.
Yeah.
Great personality, just super engaging, and just a really good shot stopper.
Yes.
And the way that they tried to play out of the back, I don't think suited her game, and it was a little bit unfair. She did receive a lot of a fair share of criticism, some of which I could see, some of which I think was unfair. But now they have Angelina Anderson, who they drafted, who took the starting spot at the beginning of the season. Had a couple of miscues.
Oh man!
But I think she has a lot of upside to her game. She has, especially distributing. I
think Angel City's trying to get young.
Yeah.
But you still need that veteran that set the kids straight from time to time.
Yeah. They have the veterans and they have the young. I feel like it's that middle prime player.
Yeah, because you have super established veterans that won it all. Then you have a lot of young kids that have a lot of upside.
They had the most players over 30 and under 20 in the league.
They need somebody in the middle to intermediate between both age groups.
Yeah.
Someone that can still go out to the club. Right. Someone can be like, no, let's go have some wine and talk about our kids.
Yeah. But anyways, I think if we can get all 3 LA teams playing at high levels at once, then that'll be fantastic.
Yeah.
From an LA standpoint.
I just want California to win,
California in general.
Yeah, San Jose. I want San Jose to have a great team.
San Diego.
I'm hyped. Just seeing the rollout. It reminds me of that 2017, 2018 LAFC rollout.
Okay.
So the way they presented Chucky, the same way they presented Vela.
What do you think of their logo, their crest?
I love it.
You like it?
Yeah, I love it. I like their colors. I like the blue. Mm-hmm. It's an oceanside city. It gives me real beach bum.
Okay.
Even their gear is just it shows they know their people. They know that they have a strong Latino community.
Yeah.
They're the city by the sea. It's amazing.
I don't know if I like that logo.
I like it.
I think the color scheme is cool. They included chrome in their color scheme, which I think is
Yeah.
I think it's very interesting. I don't know if it's going to work on a jersey or not. When I think of chrome
Gonzaga's
jerseys,
top?
do you remember the old school shiny like NBA jerseys that I think it was the Mavericks? I think it was the Mavericks that wore them for one game, and it looked like they were wearing trash bags, and it was like shiny silver jerseys that they had because that was like that polyester.
Oh yeah, like back in the days NBA jerseys.
Yes, and then they had the baggy shorts and the baggy jerseys, so it looked like they were wearing trash bags. That's what I think of when I think of chrome. But obviously now they have a chance to do it right, and done right, I think it could be really cool. The logo itself, though, to me, it looks like an industrial factory brand logo, like a generic like Procter and Gamble or General Electric style logo, where it's like we're not really trying to be we're kind of trying to be anonymous because we're so big that we don't want the spotlight. That's what it kind of plays off of for me. But maybe it hasn't really grown on me since.
No, I enjoy it. I think their fan base is gonna be scary good. Like something they know is like something when you build these new teams. Know your demographic. They have TJ right across. A lot of Americans live in TJ and they commute to San Diego to work. So they got Chucky, a Mexican. He was known as the next Mexican great player. They didn't plan out, but like.
I mean, he still had a pretty solid run.
He's only 30.
Yeah.
So same thing when people were coming to see Vela was like that Mexican staple player. So now you have a Chucky coming down. Yeah. That stadium's gonna be rocking.
Yeah.
They're gonna bring him out.
Yeah.
From Mexico to San Diego. Same thing when Cholo Squinkla first moved to TJ. So a lot of people going to go see TJ.
Yeah. I mean, they have a whole supporters group in San Diego that makes the trip across the border.
So I don't know. I think it's gonna be great for MLS. I think San Diego's been slept on since the Chargers left.
Yeah.
The Clippers left. We all feel like they should go back. But like
Chargers too. Why?
Yeah.
The Chargers. We don't need two NFL teams.
And the Chargers, like the San Diego doesn't get the just due it deserves because they have great people, great fan base, great places to eat, great places to be around, great nightlife. What more do you want? Like I'm moving to San Diego.
Yeah, San Diego. It's a really fantastic city, and from a sports perspective too, like you have the Padres. This is their only team.
The Padres.
They're on the men's side, and they have really good support for them.
We hate them, freak match.
San Diego Wave has been getting a lot of fan attendance at their games. That fan base has really shown out.
And even in California soccer, they are a staple. I remember growing up, one of the better tournaments to go play is that San Diego Surf tournament.
Yeah, San Diego Surf.
So even their clubs in San Diego Surf was one of the always top-rated clubs growing up. So it's a lot of rich soccer history in that side of the state. So I'm happy that they're getting a team. I'm happy just to see how the team is growing. Something I like about off seasons is the amount of rumors that go out of all these players they're going to sign.
You're here for the rumors.
Yeah, because LAFC doesn't do anything. LAFC keeps everything quiet.
Close, yeah.
I don't know why. Like we have to get somebody in that front office that likes to talk. Because Galaxy, every week they feel like they have somebody else they're trying to get.
Right.
San Diego as well, but LAFC, silent killers. They won't say nothing. Then boom, Griezmann's in the team.
Right. You're just putting it out there.
Griezmann's in the team. But talking about just staying with the LAFC, San Diego. I don't know how true this is, but I read something earlier today about Cherundolo's job being in the hot seat.
And him potentially getting poached to San Diego?
No.
LAFC or LAFC just going to fire him?
Firing him. I don't know how true it is. I kind of skimmed through it. I don't know if it was just like one of those vlog rumor pages.
Okay, but let's just use this as an exercise to talk about his job, what he's done as LAFC's head coach. Obviously, coming in first year, winning an MLS Cup, that's
2 finals out of 3 seasons.
Really hard to do. Going to 2 finals in 3 seasons. Going
2 cups out of 3 seasons.
I mean, winning, still won, U.S. Open Cup this year, and they went to the final of the Leagues Cup. They went to the CONCACAF Champions Cup final. So he was getting knocked for maybe some of his decision making in those big games where they ended up, falling up short. And I think, what was it? The CONCACAF Champions Final, the Campeones.
Yeah,
Leagues Cup, MLS Cup. Was that those 4 in a row that they had lost? And then they ended up winning the U.S. Open Cup Final. So
I think he's a great coach. I think it's just Columbus was better than us. The dynamic of the team changes every window.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We let players go. We bring players in. I don't think his job should be in the hot seat. I think the team still loves him. The team still plays for him. And of course, I'd rather be in 7 finals and win 2 than be in no finals.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, I agree. I think that the standard LAFC is set is obviously very high, and the fans have high expectations of their manager. And you have someone like Bob Bradley who did some really,
one
really
of the best
things.
soccer minds the U.S. has.
Really, really good things. But at the end of the day, wasn't the guy to bring them over the hump to win that championship. Cherundolo comes in relatively, from a head coach experience.
Young.
Not a lot of it. He has a lot of coaching experience, especially in Germany. But from a head coaching experience, there was not a lot. I know people were kind of questioning the move and thinking this is a disaster and this and that. But he came in, really shut the critics down. Tactics wise, I think he's very solid. It seems like he has the locker room kind of the players on his side. So,
and he was old enough. He's not that old to the point where I believe he still played against Vela towards his Vela's beginning his career, and him and his outside leaving the U.S. national team. So
I think that he's the only knock that you could say of him is that the big games they fell short.
Yeah,
but he was the one getting them to the big games.
I don't think it was him. I think those games, a lot of the big players shut down. I think he's doing great for the personnel he had, all the tournaments he's played, all the fatigue managing these players. Even just seeing the culture and the upbeat, just how he has that locker room working.
Yeah.
He has the coaches versus staff games where he still shows that he has a lot of skill.
He can still play.
LAFC shows some videos of him his first touches.
Yeah,
that thing has not left. So I think it shouldn't be a question if he should if he goes down, if he starts going to less finals, probably start bringing that topic up. Right now he's good to go.
He's good to go. Yeah.
He's one of the first Americans that did all his career outside of America.
Right. Yeah.
His whole thing, and then the stigma of these American players in Europe, his team loves him. They call him the mayor of Hanover.
Yeah.
So it just shows he was one of those first players to bring that stigma down. Talking about that Pulisic documentary that he just came out on the Paramount. They talk about, from Weston McKennie comes down and talks about how he has to fight for his role all the time just because he's American, and they feel like Americans can't bring true value to any team.
Yeah, I watched the first episode of that, and they go into which I think was the most compelling part of the documentary. I can get into my thoughts about the episode as a whole, but to me, I was most engaged by the section of the anti-American bias that some players have felt when they go to Europe. And players like Clint Dempsey were talking about it.
You don't know where I'm from, dog.
Yeah, Weston McKennie was talking about it. Pulisic said that he's had firsthand.
Chelsea didn't give him a fair chance.
Firsthand, experiences of being looked over or not being taken as seriously because he's an American. And there's one part I forget who was talking about it, but if you have an identical player with one, no, it wasn't Pulisic. It was you have 3 identical players, one from Brazil, one from Argentina, or one from Italy and one from America, identical players, doesn't matter. You're going to choose the Brazilian or the Italian over the American every single time. So, and I think that's true. We've as podcasters, we've felt that. People's like, yo, Americans
I want to shoot myself listening to these Americans talk.
But if we had British accents and we were having the same conversations, no one would bat an eye at it.
So if you sound like Harry Potter, we'll be great.
So there is, and Zlatan, they cut to Zlatan, and Zlatan talks about, and he says, there's no anti-American privilege. If you're good, you can play, which is the most Zlatan answer ever.
But he did say, he's like, Pulisic for us is one of the most important players.
So he gave Pulisic his credit, but he said there is no anti-American bias because he was so good he never faced bias in his life. You know what I mean? Like he was just like that good.
No, Pep didn't really rock with him.
Well, I mean that was I think he had a lot to do with that. Yeah. So, but there's certainly a stigma when it comes to an American player, and they cut to British fans talking about name me one American player, name me one you can't name an American starting 11 when they haven't beaten us in a World Cup ever. So how about that? But it was
get a president, forget a queen.
But I do think that as a whole, the episode was cool. I think it's really cool that Pulisic is doing this. But I will say that I might be over the whole sports doc, like behind the scenes access.
I don't know. I just felt in love with Wrexham. Like,
so the opening, the introduction to the Pulisic episode, was, I mean, almost a shot for shot, identical intro to like a F1 documentary, to a All or Nothing documentary, to a Hard Knocks documentary. It was, the quick cuts, the fades to black, the dramatic, what do you call it? The voiceover. Yeah. It's the same thing that's so derivative, and I want to see something different in the world of sports docs because I think there's so much more to be creatively done because you can't. But it all just feels the same, and we have so many of them. You have the F1 was the one that kind of started it off. You had Hard Knocks back in the day. You had
Hard Knocks is amazing.
All or Nothing.
People getting traded, cut.
Yeah, and then but the F1 craze is kind of what started it off. They did it with tennis. They did it with football or American football. They did it, the starting five with basketball.
LA Galaxy had something like that back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, the all access thing is nothing new, but this whole like sports documentary, like fancy packages that these streaming services are doing now has become all the rage. I'm not complaining about it because I think it's, especially with the subject matter and with it being focused on Pulisic and him kind of
I think it's
looking
important
to leverage his star power and become, more prevalent in the eyes of American soccer and sports fans. I think that's important.
But also
what I want though is do it in a way that's not the same as everything else.
Yeah, definitely. But I think it is important just because a lot of the American players is getting watched now. And a lot of these kids growing up playing in these clubs, like their whole thing is they want to go play Europe. They think it's like, because we're great here, like, and every other sport, they respect us in every other sports. When we leave the U.S. and go try out to Germany, England, La Liga, we're bottom of the totem pole.
Right.
We're not that.
You can't be just as good as the other players. You have to be better.
You have to be better. So you think you're gonna go just because you're average? No, you have to be a star. If you're not a star, you're not gonna make it. Seeing Gio Reyna, he's great to play in Europe, but he's not a star. And like year after year, he gets passed over. Yeah. And they talk about hey, like we don't want him because they don't want an average player. If you can do whatever everybody else does, they don't want you. But you have to be a special talent. Yeah. And then because just looking at McKennie, just going back to him, year after year fighting for his role, and year after year proving them wrong. Today, where to McKennie go? Like
in the Champions League against Manchester City.
Yes,
like, you know what I mean. Like that's like you can't get a bigger stage than that.
So yeah, I think we got to get more respect for the American player, and we're coming 2026.
Yes, sir.
England win us in the World Cup, then start talking. You guys, bro, you guys are the most overhyped team every year. Every year you're gonna do something, and y'all never do anything.
No, they can't. I mean,
I don't know. I can't even take y'all serious when you talk about soccer. Because they say that about us all the time.
Speak on that.
Yeah, talk about anything like.
It's your game. You can't even win.
Yeah.
What's up with
the
that?
First World Cup, what have you guys won?
Not even the 60s, bro. Yeah. They haven't won since like, what was it, 64? I don't even know what year it was. I couldn't even tell you. And then
you have a great league.
Use that against us.
You have a great league, but what do your players do outside that league?
They can't even win Euro Cup. The women won it. Shouts to the women.
Shout out to the women. Shout out to the women.
But
beat Spain and come talk to me, bro.
Yeah. Okay. We said our piece. This has been another episode of the Urban Pitch Podcast, a beautiful game of life, part of the Blue Network. Keep it tapped in. We got more stuff coming even before the end of the year. So appreciate you for sticking with us. We hope that you stay with us in 2025, and we got a lot of things to look forward to. So I'm excited for it. For Julio Monterosa, I'm Ramsey Abushala. See you next week.